The Government of Canada is prioritizing the health and safety of everyone in Canada by taking a risk-based and measured approach to reopening our borders, thanks to the hard work of Canadians, rising vaccination rates and declining COVID-19 cases. The Government of Canada is able to move forward with adjusted border measures. On September 7, 2021, Canada's COVID-19 epidemiology remains favourable. The government intends to open Canada's borders for discretionary travel by travelers from any country who have been fully vaccinated with Government of Canada accepted vaccines at least 14 days prior to entering Canada and who meet specific entry requirements. With the advent of increased vaccination rates in Canada, declining COVID-19 cases and reduced pressure on healthcare capacity, the government intends to implement some changes into effect, provided that Canada's COVID-19 epidemiology remains favourable. On August 9, 2021, at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, fully vaccinated citizens and permanent residents of the United States, currently residing in the United States, will be permitted to enter Canada for discretionary, non-essential travel. United States travelers and all other foreign nationals who are not fully vaccinated will continue to be prohibited from entering Canada unless they have complied with the exemption conditions set forth in the order issued under the Quarantine Act. To be eligible to enter Canada, fully vaccinated United States citizens and permanent residents must have received the full series of a vaccine, or combination of vaccines, accepted by the Canadian government at least 14 days prior to entering Canada. Currently, those vaccines are manufactured by Pfizer-BioNTech, Moderna, AstraZeneca/Covishield, and Johnson & Johnson. Travelers can be vaccinated in any country/region and must provide proof of their vaccination in English, French, or a certified translation, along with the original. In addition, fully vaccinated travelers must also provide COVID-19 related information electronically through our Vaccin app or web portal, including proof of vaccination prior to departing for Canada, subject to limited exceptions, meet the pre-entry testing requirements, be asymptomatic upon arrival, and have a paper or digital copy of their vaccination documentation in English or French, or certified translation, along with the original, ready to show a government official on request. All travelers must still present a suitable quarantine plan, and be prepared to quarantine if they not meet all of the conditions required to be exempt from quarantine. They will also be required to follow public health measures in place, such as monitoring for signs and symptoms of COVID-19, wearing a mask when in public and keeping a copy of their vaccination documentation and test results, as well as a list of close contacts and locations visited, for 14 days after entry to Canada. For air travel, passengers continue to have to wear a mask in Canadian airports and on board flights to, from and within Canada, with few exceptions, and regardless of their vaccination status. In addition, the government also allowed discretionary, non-essential travel for fully vaccinated American citizens and permanent residents, currently residing in the United States, who meet all required criteria. This includes the need to submit information electronically through Vaccin, allow entry of unvaccinated children under 12 years of age, or unvaccinated dependent children, due to a mental or physical condition, who are United States citizens or permanent residents currently residing in the United States and who are accompanying a fully vaccinated parent, step-parent, guardian or tutor who either has a right to enter Canada, for example Canadian citizens and permanent residents, is a United States citizen and permanent resident currently residing in the U.S., or is otherwise is permitted entry under the United States Prohibition on Entry order made under the Quarantine Act. They must meet all other required criteria, including submitting information electronically through our Vaccin and all testing requirements. Travelers who do not meet all the required eligibility requirements for discretionary, non-essential travel will be denied entry into Canada, precluded from boarding their flight, and/or could face additional fines on arrival. It is therefore important that all travelers find out about whether they are eligible to enter Canada well in advance of their travel, and understand applicable requirements, testing requirements, allow Canadian citizens and permanent residents traveling to the United States for less than 72 hours to do their pre-entry test in Canada, allow individuals who have recovered from COVID-19, but continue to test positive, to present a positive COVID-19 molecular test result on a specimen taken 14 to 180 days prior to arrival in Canada as part of the pre-arrival test requirements, adjust post-arrival testing for fully vaccinated travelers, using a new border testing surveillance program at airports and land border crossings. Fully vaccinated travelers will not need a post-arrival test unless they have been randomly selected to complete a Day 1 COVID-19 molecular test. This shift responds to the pandemic's evolution and will monitor prevalence in travelers. It will also identify new variants of concern entering Canada and provide intelligence, including vaccine effectiveness. There are no changes to the mandatory testing requirements for unvaccinated travelers, temperature screening requirements, due to the improving epidemiological situation in Canada. Effective August 9, 2021, Transport Canada will remove the requirement for the Canadian Air Transport Security Authority, CATSA, to perform pre-board temperature screening of passengers on all domestic flights and international departures, including transporter, as well as airport workers. These changes will make the travel process more streamlined, ensuring that passengers spend less time in airports, while still maintaining necessary public health measures, for example, wearing of masks at airports and on board all flights to, from and within Canada, quarantine requirements. Eliminate the 3-night government-authorized hotel stay requirement for all travelers arriving by air as of 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on August 9. Continue to require unvaccinated travelers to undergo Day 1 and Day 8 COVID-19 molecular tests, and complete a mandatory 14-day quarantine, subject to limited exceptions. Unvaccinated children under 12 years of age and dependent children, due to a mental or physical condition, of fully vaccinated travelers will no longer have to complete a 14-day quarantine, but must follow strict public health measures. This includes those traveling from the U.S. for discretionary purposes. This means they can move around with their parents, but must avoid group settings, such as camps or daycares, during the first 14 days after their arrival. Unvaccinated children will remain subject to the Day 1 and Day 8 testing requirements. Provinces and territories may have more stringent rules around people who have recently returned from travel. More details will be available in the coming days. Proof of vaccination for foreign nationals permitted entry for discretionary purposes, who enter on the basis of their vaccination status. Starting August 9, 2021, air carriers will be verifying that the travelers coming to Canada have submitted their information digitally by using the Vaccin app or website before they board their flight. Discretionary travelers who are unable to show their Vaccin receipt either on their mobile device or a printed copy, will not be allowed to board their flight to Canada, as they are ineligible to enter Canada. In addition to their Vaccin receipt, travelers should carry their actual vaccine certificate with them to show officials at the border entry point. Discretionary travelers include fully vaccinated American citizens or permanent residents who reside in the United States, and are entering from the United States for discretionary, non-essential, travel, starting on August 9, 2021, and other fully vaccinated foreign nationals coming to Canada for discretionary, non-essential, purposes, intended to start on September 7, 2021. Travelers with a right to entry. For example, Canadian citizens and permanent residents, or travelers who qualify for entry under another exemption, for example immediate or extended family member, or who are coming to Canada for essential reasons, such as temporary foreign workers, or international students, will not be denied boarding, but will be required to submit information relating to their vaccination status via the Vaccin app or website. Eased quarantine and testing requirements based on vaccination status. Individuals who cannot be fully vaccinated due to a health condition for which vaccination is contraindicated according to the vaccine's label may also qualify for the eased quarantine and testing requirements currently available to fully vaccinated travelers, but must follow a modified quarantine. More details will be available in the coming days. Travelers arriving in Canada by marine mode will now be eligible for eased quarantine and testing requirements if they have received the full series of a vaccine, or combination of vaccines, accepted by the Government of Canada at least 14 days prior to entering Canada. Currently, those vaccines are manufactured by Pfizer-BioNTech, Moderna, AstraZeneca/Covishield, and Johnson & Johnson. They must also meet all other criteria, including the pre-entry test requirement and the need to submit information electronically through AirVacan before or when entering Canada. This is to accommodate for Wi-Fi issues on the water. All travelers must still provide a quarantine plan and be prepared to quarantine, in case it is determined at the border that they do not meet the necessary requirements. Travel advice. While Canada continues to trend in the right direction, the epidemiological situation and vaccination coverage is not the same around the world. The Government of Canada continues to advise Canadians to avoid non-essential travel outside of Canada. International travel increases your risk of exposure to COVID-19 and its variants, as well as of spreading it to others. Border measures also remain subject to change as the epidemiological situation evolves. As Canada begins to welcome fully vaccinated travelers from the United States, the Government of Canada will continue to monitor the situation and provide updated travel advice to Canadians.